Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. For today's video, we are going to do a review of this Seiko Sumo, which I unboxed a couple of days back. And this is a very new model. I believe the entire GMT Sumo series, it was launched a couple of months back, and this version, having the Pepsi bezel, is a JDM model. Reference number for the watch is SBPK005. So at the time of the launch, there were two colors for the international release. We have a green and blue dial version, but for this JDM version, you can get one in this Pepsi dial version. And I feel this is a very sporty look for a Seiko diver. So fans out there who want this colorway, this color combi, I think look no further than this JDM version. As the model name implies, the GMT Sumo does feature the GMT complication or function, and it now has an added GMT hand. I think it's nicely done, alright, not overly thick or get in the way very much. And also due to the GMT function, this one here uses a quartz movement, a solar quartz that is. The caliber for this watch is 5K65. It's got a 9-month power reserve when the movement is fully charged, and accuracy for the watch is very typical. It comes in at plus minus 15 seconds per month. With the lens zoom in just a little bit, let's run through some of the key specifications of the new GMT Sumo. Actually, I would say in terms of specs, in terms of dimensions, this watch is exactly the same as the Gen 3 Sumo. So it's got the same case diameter, same L to L distance. Case diameter here is about 45 millimeters. L to L here is very long on the Sumo. It comes in at close to 52 millimeters. And it also has a very familiar 20 millimeter lug width here. And as with all Sumos, all generations of Sumo, the lug width here has always been an issue for discussion. Alright, so is the 20 millimeter lug width too narrow for a Sumo? Alright, Sumo is a very big watch, but I feel that this is pretty okay. I don't feel that the lug width is too narrow. I think due to the case design, a 20 millimeter lug width here works really well. You can definitely get a very nice strap if you're not using the stock bracelet. We also have a sapphire crystal here that has AR coating on the underside. So since Gen 3 Sumos, Seiko has installed sapphire crystal. But then again, the prices for Sumos has gone up quite a bit. We're looking at close to 1,000 Singapore dollars. For this watch, it typically comes in at around street price of $830, and you can definitely get this watch from our boutique. This was where the watch was loaned from, our boutique, and I gotta take some time to thank Eric at our boutique for so kindly and generously loaning me all the watches. There's one measurement that I got wrong during the unboxing video. So in that video, I said that this watch, this model here, the Solar Sumo, due to its quartz movement, now has a thinner overall case thickness. Okay, so it's been reduced or something like that, but I was wrong. Okay, so I took my digital calipers and measured the overall thickness for this watch. It comes in at close to 13.8 millimeters, and this is actually thicker than the mechanical version of the Sumo. I had the 103 for a while, the Hulk Sumo, and I measured that. I believe it was around 13.3 millimeters. So this is actually half a millimeter thicker than the mechanical Sumo. I guess, again, this is owing to the complication. So because of the GMT function, you are getting a thicker hand stack. There are now 4 hands. Sounds like some kind of fine dining chef special, 4 hands. But this is the case for the GMT Sumo. It now has too many hands. As a result, I think the overall thickness has been increased. Apart from the fact that this one here uses a quartz movement, a solar quartz, I guess the rest of the watch is pretty much the same as the mechanical Sumo. So this one here does not have tire shield coating, and the level of finishing, the workmanship here on the case as well as the bracelet, it is identical to the Gen 3 Sumo. Now let's move on and talk a little bit on the dial design. I would say this is the newest and the biggest change made to this new generation of Sumos. So you can see here the dial design is obviously different due to the GMT function. We've got an extra hand, of course. I like this one here. The hand doesn't feel overly thick or get in the way. And there are also some changes in terms of markers, dial markers over here. The lume dots here are smaller, and they've also added the 24-hour markers here in between the dot markers. So I would say this one here is nicely done. It's not overly cluttered. I do like the pops of colors here on the GMT hand, on the GMT printing here at 6 o'clock. Of course, there's this Pepsi bezel here that adds the touch of sportiness to the overall design. So this one here is still an aluminum bezel insert, no ceramic, which explains the price point. Alright, so this is under 1,000 Singapore dollars. Seiko is not going to give you ceramic bezel insert for a Sumo at this price point. Alright, so the lume pip here is also very nicely done. It does have a layer of glass here, I think, some form of crystal here protecting the lume pip. So I think this is a nice touch and definitely an upgrade from the more entry-level Pro Specs divers. And finally, there's also this lovely dial texturing going on. We've got a very nice wave texturing here on the dial, and it's very subtle. You can't really see it at first glance. You got to go close and examine the dial before you can see this texturing. I think it's really nice. It really fits this overall blue dial, deep dark blue dial theme of the overall dial design. Let's check out the lume on the new Solar Sumo. So as you can see here, despite the smaller lume dots, the overall lume brightness is definitely unaffected. Alright, this is still king of the hill level type of lume from Seiko. Okay, so just to illustrate how small the lume dots are on the new model, just take a look at the lume pip. Alright, so I would say they're about the same size, and overall brightness is still right up there, Seiko gold standard. Zooming back out for a very quick wrist shot here, you can see that the Sumo is indeed a Sumo. Alright, it's an oversized watch, and in my unboxing video, there were some viewers who commented how big this watch really is. Alright, so I tend to agree. I think the Sumo is made larger due to this crazy L to L distance of close to 52 millimeters, and normally at a close-up shot like this, it normally feels like the watch is indeed bigger. Okay, so on this stainless steel bracelet, I think the watch comes in close to 200 grams. If I'm not wrong, it's about 194 grams with the bracelet unsized. I think this could pose a problem for those of you who like lighter and more manageable watches. I'm definitely one of those people, and I think I would definitely try to swap this out on a rubber strap. Let's also do a quick size comparison between the Solar Sumo and my own 63 mass reissue. So you can see over here that the Sumo is much bigger, much larger in terms of case size as well as the L to L measurement. But when it comes to thickness, I think they are very similar. Both watches come in close to 14 millimeters, and I think the only difference here would be this L to L here on the Sumo. It is just crazy. I don't know why they don't shorten it or sort of reduce the overall case size, but it is what it is. So for the Sumo fans out there, I think you'll be very happy with a larger overall dimension, but for fans out there who prefer a smaller watch, I think you do need to consider the heft and the overall size of the Sumo. So all in all, a very nice and much needed addition to the Sumo family. I think fans out there have been yearning for a nice Sumo, a new Sumo with GMT complication. They finally got it, but this one here doesn't come with the new NH GMT movement. In this case, you're getting a quartz, but I think not an issue at all. So despite the quartz movement, I don't think this is a major problem, because I think we got to look at the pros of a quartz movement. In this case, you're getting that grab and go, fast free kind of operation or maintenance. You don't have to reset the watch every now and then. The accuracy is way better than a 4-hour, 6-hour movement. So fans out there shouldn't be overly disappointed with the fact that this is not a mechanical GMT watch. So there you have it. That was my really quick review of the new Seiko GMT Sumo. So this watch, I feel that it is useful for those who really need the GMT complication. If you don't really need it, I think the extra GMT hand probably looks cool anyway. So this watch here probably sits in between the 1500 Singapore dollars type of divers and the 500 zone kind of watches in the entry-level Pro Spec series. So if you're in the lookout for a watch in this category with sapphire crystal and all that, I think this would be a very suitable choice. Alright, so this is Andy in Singapore. I'll see you next week for more watch reviews together with George and Pixie and Rolly Polly. Bye bye.